Welcome to MMA DFS for beginners. This is your host Jesse. This episode I'm going to be a little louder because I did move into my room and I was trying to keep it quiet. I was trying to keep it quiet in general because I live in a cheap apartment that has paper thin walls. It is Orange County, so rent is super high. But this time I'm going to be loud because my neighbors are loud and I'm not complaining. So if they can be loud, I guess I can be loud. There's no point of being quiet if the person you're being quiet for is not being quiet as well. Got a little brain fart there. So anyways, this episode is going to be all about results from last week, January 14th, the Evolve and Strickland fight, which was pretty good, even though I did fall asleep because I did watch the rerun and I was tired and it was a 5-rounder. And I do have ADD, so did fall asleep, but enjoyed it for the time I was awake. So last week, I do have good news for those following the $500 challenge, and I do recommend everybody to follow this because, again, once I reach 500, I'm going to give all that money away to one lucky subscriber. So as long as you're subscribed, you don't have to do anything else. I'm not asking for anything else. I'm asking for tweets or any of that sort of mumbo jumbo. Just as long as you're subscribed and preferably following along, because I believe I do have good insight on this game we call MMA DFS, especially for beginners, because when I first started, I was pretty lost, but now I understand a good amount of it. So we did start with $100. This was back in November, about 2 months ago, right? Yeah, 2 months ago. Started with 100, just started going down slowly, but we do go down because we're playing mostly GPPs, and in GPPs, you generally go down. And some of this was bad bankroll management as well. But we did hit a tournament this week. We did hit a tournament week and profited $80, around $80. So we're up to 150 now, 150 bucks. So that's good news. That was exciting. Going back to the contest I played, so I played a small field, two small fields, a 594 and a 703. These numbers stand for what do these numbers stand for? I already confused myself. Oh, $4 buy-in, 3 max entry, 594 contestants. $4 buy-in, 20 max entry, 703 player contests. I do want to play both because I want to compare them. And then my hypothesis is for single entries, people tend to play the chalk a lot heavier because they want to. They'll have one bullet or one entry into the tournament, so they're gonna play fighters like Nurmagomedov very highly. In this case, that was true at 58%. It was higher than these. They played them basically at 60%. The smaller fields, he was played at 45 and 45. So 60% to the 45. So the hypothesis is ringing true to what we had. And that's just to get extra leverage on these contests. We'll get into that later. So we did have the second best lineup with Johnson, Argueta, Ige, Abdul, Kopylov, and Strickland. The best lineup had Nurmagomedov over Johnson all across the board. If we look at the results, all across the board. So we'll just do the one I came in second place. Technically, it was fourth because the first place was duplicated 3 times, and second place was duplicated twice, or duplicated once, me and this dude. So the only difference between my lineup and the best lineup was Nurmagomedov and Johnson. If I were to go back and do it again, I would keep it that way. Looking at let's go back to our cheat sheet. Let's see, cheat sheet. So looking back at the numbers, Charles Johnson, first of all, his ownership was a lot lower than Nurmagomedov, right? Nurmagomedov win percentage was a lot higher, but Johnson's inside the distance was a lot better at 56 compared to 36. Nurmagomedov his inside the distance odds wasn't that great at 175, whereas Johnson was great at negative 225. So this was a more volatile fight. Johnson was more likely to finish his opponent than Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov was a safer pick, but we're playing GPP, so we want the higher ceiling. We're looking for higher ceiling and lower ownership here. So I would still pick him, and my little value column was valuing him better than Nurmagomedov, and it was a way to get different. So, and it was just by one damn point, 1 point, less than 1 point. What is that? 637.12 and 636.23, less than 1 point, right? So we had it. It wasn't like it was just right there to get first place. So I would do that again. Would definitely do that again. I would pick Johnson over Nurmagomedov in this case any day in our situation. So the Kopylov pick paid off 15%, and he won. So he was on the winning lineup. So good. We played this week very well. Won the sprawl. Won the sprawl, and the other sprawl I did a late swap because remember the Abdul and this fight was the make or break fight, the Abdul and the Ribeiro fight. So I had two lineups, each one. And once the Ribeiro fight, once he lost, I moved to Jackson and Vieira, which were safer picks, but ended up not turning out so well. But since this didn't turn out well, this turned out well. It was kind of like hedging our bets there. Anyways, so looking at studying, these two are basically the same. These two contests, but the single entry is slightly different with the Nurmagomedov being very highly owned. Looking forward, we will do a little experiment, which I'll talk about later in the week's episode when we start getting into this week's contest of who's the main event, Hill and Teixeira. That contest, so I'll do a video for that Draftkings contest. But that's about it for last week's. The Imavov and Strickland turned out well, and taking this information and going with it. Anything else? It was pretty much the same. I was looking at the percentages that were projected. It was pretty much the same all across the board. Nothing stuck out. This Soriano being 40% at the single entry was pretty high compared to 35, 37. It was projected to 30. I'm quite not sure why he was that high. His win percentage was even that great compared to the chalk, the Arguedos, Nurmagomedov, and Rebecki's. So I don't know why he was up there. It's a bit questionable. Is he a fan favorite? He looks like he could knock a mother effer out, but maybe based off of looks. But it definitely turned out in our favor because we went opposite with Kopylov, and what a fight that was. Kopylov's technician, he was good ass jab. Those jabs were stinging Soriano. You could tell Soriano wasn't really setting anything up. He was just like swinging for the fences, throwing those hooks, which if they would have landed, he would have been out. So, well, I don't want to say that because it didn't happen. I think he did land a couple, but didn't really do too much damage. But Kopylov definitely had the better setups and those body shots. That's what ended up putting away Soriano. Soriano's tough, but no matter how tough you are, those body shots will put anybody down. So going on to the Rainmakers. So I'm going to be going over the Rainmakers as well. They didn't do as well in the Rainmakers as the regular DraftKings. But these are the results as far as percentage-wise. There is no challenge here, so I'm not going to go over my winnings. I only won like $6 and some packs because I did join the packs. So overall loss on the Rainmakers. But we are learning more about the Rainmakers. So the core, the 10K core, as we can see, the chalk is not played here. Ige was the highest owned. Hernandez, actually, it's pretty even all across the board. So taking this information, what I would do, my captain, I would pick. Um, I do want to be somewhat volatile, so I would play chalky lineups. Um, High percentage win. I'll look for win percentage, and then my captain will be the most volatile fight, which in this card was Abdul and Ribeiro. So I probably would go Abdul as captain, looking back on this, and then just picking up, filling my lineups with these guys, four of these dudes. I think that's a good strategy going with core because these top guys aren't as highly owned in this as the rare. As you can see, the chalk is more chalky, for the lack of a better word. So that's what I go about core going forward. Captain volatility in the captain spot. So inside the distance, high percentage for inside the distance, and then fill it out with the chalk. Whew, going to core, the 200 pack, top 200 win. This is more of like a cash lineup type of deal going on. And then you can see people were playing that. Vieira and Pennington were that more highly owned. Um, the way I would go about this moving forward is I would keep it the same. I would play the low volatility players. So we're looking at Jackson, Ige, Vieira, Pennington. Um, that's about it as far as low volatility. Oh, the main event, Imavov and Strickland. Um, I would go with that. So what I would do in this case is I would pick as my captain would be a win equity. I'd go win equity as my captain. So one of these dudes up here, whatever's the best deal for a core. So maybe like in this case would probably be like a Nacimiento at $2.70. These are the prices, pretty much the closing prices of the rares and the cores. I just cracked my voice. I'm still going through puberty, guys. So probably like a Nacimiento as my captain, and then just low variance fighters. So maybe like a Pennington, Ige or Jackson, Strickland. Maybe stack the main event. Maybe stack the main event again. This is cash. So safety all around. Moving on to the rare tournament, the 25K. Um, this is where we see the chalk being up there. So this I would treat it like a regular DFS contest. I would again, my captain would be the high variance fight, which would be the Abdul and Ribeiro. So I would pick one of these as my captain in the rare. My second rare would be the shot I'll be taking. Remember, we like to take shots on these GPPs. So it'd be the Kopilov. I say this as my second rare because this is where you're going to get a discount on the rares, right? Because once we start purchasing rares, that's when the prices start going up. We're not talking about $3, $5, $6. We're talking about, the difference between what Kopilov is 250 and 22, 25, 20, 11, 13. So the prices are getting up there with the rares. So with the my second rare, I'd go Kopilov, and then the commons just fill it up with uh, the how I would play DFS. So maybe like a Johnson would be nice, Argueta for the win percentage, and then probably Nascimento. I probably wouldn't go Ige this time around because I remember we picked Ige because of where for the late swap. So I'd probably pick a safer pick. Um, the We're getting different by picking Kopilov and Abdul as our captain, and then we don't have to worry too much about ownership after that. And then I don't want to go over to the other rares. I might not play this in the future, depending on the pricing of it, because now we're going. Is it worth it? The pack of the price is $35, so we're gonna have to be paying for rares. So, I mean, off the top of my head, looking at it, um, against safety, as you can see, people playing for uh, safe fighters, low variance. So as my captain, I would probably pick the cheapest win equity here. So maybe like a Nascimento again as my captain. Um, Second rare would be a cheap like safe pick. So maybe like a Pennington, and then filling it out with safer floors. So like a Jackson, Ige. So similar to this core. very similar structure to lineup. So that's the study for the DFS contest and the DraftKings. Oh, the DraftKings, they're both DraftKings. I'm losing my mind. I said I was gonna be loud. I don't want to be loud because there's other podcasts or channels I watch, and I'll be listening to it, and then they yell or they start with "Hey," and then you're just like, "Ah, shit, dude, you not know like." People listen to this with earbuds, so I will not be loud for that. Not because of my neighbors. Not I want to be loud because of my neighbors, but I don't want to be loud because of the headphone users. So those are the people that I'm keeping an eye out for now, or a voice out for. Lame joke. It's what it is. I'm not really good with the jokes. Just lame ass joke. So that's it with this. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm gonna leave it there. The way I'm gonna structure it now going forward is Mondays. I don't know if I'm gonna release this today or it might be tomorrow. Today I had the day off of work, so I might be able to do it just for today. But moving forward, I might not be able to release it because I have to edit it and do all that stuff, upload and yada yada yada. So Mondays are gonna be a review of the contests we just did over the weekend, update on the $500 challenge. Wednesday's videos are gonna be about, which probably is gonna be released on Thursday. I don't know yet. Wednesday, I'll talk about hashtag commitment issues. It's not commitment; it's just a time thing. I'm just right here trying to rationalize my procrastination or prioritization. But I do live in Orange County, so I do have to work and I do have to make money because it is expensive living here. But Wednesday, um, will be the DraftKings Rainmaker like update. Packs usually drop on Tuesday, which by the way, UFC 283 packs drop tomorrow. Let's see how that goes. Um, Wednesday will be like a little update on that. Value picks, my take on the market, and then Friday's video that I'll shoot will be for the upcoming DraftKings contest fight itself. More of a breakdown of like the fighters and their positioning and late swap strategies, GPP strategy, and head-to-head strategies. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. For all those people that watch, I'm gonna be uploading more frequently, so keep an eye out for these videos.